Warning, this video is intentionally made positive to show the best of Back 4 Blood. If you don't care for Back 4 Blood and think the Back 4 Blood is a bad game, then please actually refer to this video instead where I talk about everything that is wrong with the game. Back 4 Blood is meant to be the spiritual successor to the franchise Left 4 Dead that is currently owned by Valve Software. What I want to do for today's video is I want to take a look at the things that Turtle Rock has done right for the game and what makes Back 4 Blood a good game. Developer feedback. Turtle Rock handling Back 4 Blood and its development and community feedback has been an absolute treat and a joy to watch. Turtle Rock actively engages with the community on forums, on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Any single way that you can imagine that they can communicate, they do it. And they do it well. They interact with replies, they interact with different community members on different topic ideas, and they plus also are really extremely nice people. Turtle Rock has done things that are absolutely not necessary, but just because they want to. They've added in streamer mode, so that way you can actually be able to mute copyrighted audio, so that way if you don't want to get a copyright strike whilst trying to stream the game, you don't have to worry about this now in the background. Over the course of Valentine's Day weekend, they were actually offering double supply points to allow people to be able to catch up on the supply streams before their new DLC update that is just announced for April the 12th, so that way you can get all the cosmetics. They even have done things such as actually adding in, like, online, like, prestige awards, and if you do something cool within their game, they'll give you a shout out and show your clip on their Twitter account and make a big deal about it. When was the last time you've ever seen this for any single game studio ever? And the thing is that this wasn't during the release window of the game to get people all hyped up and give them this false sense of, like, awesome feelings. They do this regularly and still do this half of a year later. Turtle Rock is even willing to admit when that they're wrong. This is actually a screenshot from when they had a issue going on with their special infected spawns when they tried to tweak them, and they were thanking the community for their feedback and their patience, while still admitting that what they were trying to do was a mess up, but they're willing to fix it. Turtle Rock as a company, if they want to do well, they do, yes, need to patch their game. However, though, they absolutely did not need to apologize and put the blame on themselves. That is something that they just solely wanted to do because they wanted to do the right thing, and that is not only awesome, but respectable. Gameplay and content. Although some may disagree, I personally really enjoy the gameplay and the feeling of Back 4 Blood. The game has a sense of familiarity where it feels very similar to Left 4 Dead due to the nature of the fact that the game is meant to be a spiritual successor. However, though, the game differs itself just enough so that way the game doesn't feel like a copy and paste. The most notable of these differences is that the game has a in-game card system that is meant to end up impacting the director feature and be essentially a counter to it, where you can actually draw and actually play some cards that you have earned throughout playing the game with supply points, so that way you can be able to give yourselves new guns, new abilities, etc. There's also in-game vendors, which are essentially like built-in item shops, so that way you can pick up loot that you specifically want without needing to find it randomly within the open world if you saved enough of your copper, which is an in-game currency. The guns in this game also have an attachment system, so that means that if you find a gun and you want to upgrade it, you can put on optical sights and even extended mag, stocks, etc. So that way you can be able to make it stronger, and that's not even including the colors, where it's just naturally stronger due to its rarity. And finally, survivors. All the survivors in this game have a unique weapon specific to them, plus also some built-in abilities that make some stronger in certain scenarios than the other one, such as being able to be better at melee combat. Some of them, for example, you get like a extra grenade slot, or you can end up having reserve ammo, etc., etc. This makes every single character have a place rather than just solely going based off their personalities, and it doesn't actually make a in-game meta that breaks the game like one may think, which was something that I was extremely worried about back at the beginning stages of the game. However, though, throughout the last 6 months, this has been 0% of an issue. Story and characters. Back 4 Blood's story is extremely solid. The storytelling flow is great, it explains why you're here, why you're fighting, and it also allows you to be able to get attached to the characters, which I also believe ends up being a really critical part to the game. Back when I played the alpha and the game had the characters revealed to us for the very first time, I was extremely worried about what the future of them was going to be, because the characters pretty much only essentially did battle chatter and no personal dialogue about their backstories or who they were as characters. This was actually something that I wanted to be addressed in the beta and have at least a little bit more clarification on who we were actually playing as and what they were meant to do here in the first place. This was something, luckily, that was addressed, and in the beta, we did not only get another character via Mom, but the prior characters that we came to know actually got more dialogue, which allowed us to be able to figure out more about their in-game stories and why they were even doing this in the first place. Every character in this game has a unique story, a unique personality type, and they actually feel real. They don't feel like something that's a stereotype or meant to just be a role to fill or a character to play as. I actually care about who they are as people, and I get to enjoy the little details such as finding out little dialogue pieces that I didn't hear before, so now I know that someone's got a little bit of a personal connection to this character versus the other one, or they actually had a secret that they didn't reveal until just now via something happening within the game itself. Some people might not like these characters because they're trying to compare them to Left 4 Dead characters, but that's just an unfair comparison. Because this isn't meant to be Left 4 Dead at the end of the day, this is meant to be a spiritual successor and supposed to be a reinterpretation of what it's like to end up being a survivor. No one survivor is going to be the same, and they also are not meant to be the exact same way that they were in Left 4 Dead, because otherwise, then that would end up being the copy and paste problem that we were discussing earlier. I found myself enjoying Back 4 Blood's characters the most when I was just letting go and I wasn't trying to compare them to anything, just enjoying them for who they are, and making them feel human. I'm looking forward to seeing the other characters that are added into this game via the DLC, to see how they interact with the remaining characters that are currently in the game, and seeing how their story unfolds and what secrets I have still yet to discover in its entirety. Microtransactions. This is probably something that you were not expecting to see on this list, but I will tell you why that I actually put this on here instead of putting it in, for example, the reasons why Back 4 Blood is bad list. Over the last several years with gaming, we have dealt with problems with microtransactions and scummy and shady tactics to try to sell skins and DLC items to us. This ended up reaching a breaking point with the game Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 was extremely ridden with microtransactions, and it was really plaguing the game and making the game essentially toxic. Every single decently good thing in that game that you want to earn was not earnable. You had to end up going through a paywall and essentially playing, basically gambling with your money in order to end up unlocking something that should have been given to you straight from the rip. It got to a point where essentially the US government had to get involved and say, hey, that this is basically going to be considered child gambling because these games are meant to be marketed towards children, and if you're making so that way you're reinforcing gambling addiction to them, this is going to be something that stops here right now. Now, even though a lot of game companies have backed off from supply drops and a whole bunch of random casino-themed RNG loot box systems, right now, what a lot of them are doing are essentially still paid microtransactions. It's just that now that they're a flat rate, where you can end up buying them at an in-game store with usually fake currency, such as Fortnite with its V-Bucks. Now, in regards to Turtle Rock, with the way that they're handling Back 4 Blood, something has changed. Turtle Rock has decided to take the approach of having essentially no micro DLC whatsoever in the entire game. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, John, you realize that in Back 4 Blood you can't play the DLC until you buy it, right? Yes, but I wanted to point out a couple reasons why that I am personally cool with the DLC model in Back 4 Blood. Number one, the DLC model in Back 4 Blood only ends up applying to things such as the maps and the survivors and the infected. However, though, you don't have to end up paying essentially $20 for your character to look red versus blue, when that should just be something that is given to you in the game and is simplistic of a change. All these skins in the game currently right now at the moment are unlocked via the supply stream, which is essentially a free version of a battle pass that is in the game that you get via in-game content and in-game supply points. Plus, also, the DLC is not required to play the game, and you can get it for free as long as one other single person in your lobby has it. So that means that if you have a friend that owns the DLC, if you always play with them, or you happen to use their account, you can get the DLC without needing to pay for it yourself. That's also excluding the idea and also the fact that you can end up getting Back 4 Blood and the Game Pass on Xbox for free right now. If you have the Game Pass, you get the game just automatically, plus also a lot of its base content, even pre-order bonuses, which was not needed, but was just a nice cherry on top. Honoring Left 4 Dead 2. Now, out of all of these, this one's going to be the most opinionated, but in my opinion, I really do believe that Back 4 Blood does the best job at honoring Left 4 Dead as a series and as a zombie game. Left 4 Dead is a game that I hold near and dear to my heart, and a lot of people that also are subscribed to this channel think the very same way. And of all the previous zombie copies that have tried to mimic Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood by Turtle Rock has done this the most accurately and the most honorably. Despite the new innovations that are in the game to make the game feel like its own separate thing, it does a very good job at capturing that essence about what Left 4 Dead was, which was basically meant to end up being a chapter-based horde survival game that you try to play with your buddies so that way you can be able to kick some zombie ass. I believe at the end of the day, Back 4 Blood is never going to end up being a perfect solution for a Left 4 Dead 3 for a lot of people, because that's kind of what a lot of people were expecting and excited for when this game originally first came out, and I thought that also too. But this game was never meant to be that in the direct sense in the first place. This was meant to be a reinterpretation of Left 4 Dead, and essentially its own spin-off. This is not meant to be Left 4 Dead 3, and Left 4 Dead 3 may or may not ever come out, like the way that we think it does. However though, if Left 4 Dead 3 ever does come out, I will still be grateful that Back 4 Blood exists, and I will still periodically visit the game because I do truly enjoy it, and I do think it is warranting of being a good zombie game. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it here for today's video. I do truly hope you guys end up enjoying. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe, and all that beautiful stuff. Let me know personally down below in the comments, what did you think of this video? Do you agree with me that Back 4 Blood is a good game? If not, then you can always, once again, feel free to check out my other video on this, where I'm talking about everything about what makes Back 4 Blood a bad game. But yeah, if you guys would also like to financially support the channel, I would tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they're sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. Thank you, Jake Squid, for being a Patreon supporter once again. I appreciate you, my friend, and I hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTuber they're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!